Blog Talk Radio.
I beseech thee, Satan, remove thyself from Salem. Remove thyself from Salem, Satan.
Welcome to Take Two Radio. We are pleased to bring you interviews with people in the entertainment and music industry, discussions and recaps of the 4 remaining daytime soaps. That's The Bold and the Beautiful, The Young and the Restless, General Hospital, and Days of Our Lives, as well as various other shows. For upcoming and previous shows, check take2radio.com. That's with the number 2. And you can find us on Blog Talk Radio, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and other streaming apps. Follow us on social media at Take2 Radio, and thanks for listening.
Hey, good evening, everybody. This is David. I'm your fill-in for Take2 Radio Soaps and Review tonight. Pam is under the weather. We have Carolyn under the weather. We have Lily under the weather. But tonight, joining me, well, right now, I have my friend Anthony.
Hey.
And Candice is running a little bit behind, and she will hopefully be joining us soon. She is in the middle of something. But let's do a little research what we were talking about offline, Anthony.
Before we get to that, I actually have a nice piece of news for folks.
Go ahead. Sure.
And so this was I just received confirmation on this afternoon. There was a firestorm of skepticism, frenzy, what this meant. Tyler Christopher, who is best known for Nicholas on GH, but also originated the role on Days of Our Lives, tweeted that it felt so good to be back in the studio. Or something to that effect.
I saw that.
And it caused a firestorm of, okay, is he coming back to Days? Is he coming back to GH? I can very officially announce that Tyler is working 3 episodes on a Netflix drama that is premiering in early May. It is a superhero franchise show based on the work of Marky Arctic, who does a lot of the DC and Marvel storyboard editing, et cetera, et cetera. I don't have the name of the show, but he has a 3-episode arc on that show. That's the set that he was tweeting from. So although he would... it was just that. Although he would love to return to either one of the 2 soaps, or possibly Bold or The Young and the Restless, if they could, if there's a character there for him. He is not averse to coming back to daytime, but that was not meant to stir up Nicholas Colonna or oh my God, Brandon Barash leaving or anything like that. Yeah. So look for an official announcement next week.
Well, I didn't think it was either one of them, but there was one thing I did know that was he has coming up, and I thought the studio was State of Mind, because he's due to be a guest pretty soon.
And that that would have been a convenient way for him to throw off. I don't think he thought through the post itself, not realizing how rabid fans are for us to see him back on camera. I think he kind of wanted to show folks that he's doing well, he's getting back to work, and it went a little bit viral where they weren't expecting that. So look for an official announcement for his character and the show release sometime next week, I'm told. So really excited and happy that, he is back to work, and I really can't wait to hear him and Maurice, rap. I absolutely
I'm not
love
sure when.
the
I
episode.
think it's spring because he's getting because State of Mind is getting a retrieval and going on the new network. I think they're eventually leaving YouTube, so I think I think that's this spring, but that's the one. That's the one I thought he was coming.
Yeah, I heard that that he was leaving YouTube after the last March episode, and then there's going to be a 2-week hiatus, and then it'll be back on. I think it's Freeform. It's Freeform, but there'll be a 2-week hiatus from episodes.
Something called I can't remember the name of it. Inform Network. It's a new network.
Yeah.
I know there are.
Wait, Freeform already exists, but Form is in there somehow. It is a new network, and they're, this is going to be one of their anchor podcast shows, whatever you want to call it.
Sounds good. Hopefully we can get to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
all right. So what did you?
more?
What? No, that's the only news I have.
That's the only news you have?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
We were talking before about what is making you leery about the soaps.
There's always going to be something. There's always going to be something interesting, something, kind of gripping and something disappointing to talk about for all 4 shows. But you and I were on General Hospital and Days of Our Lives. And I feel like they're both sort of on the same trajectory. They have a gangbuster, story that has brought a lot of attention back to the show. But it feels like right at the moment, both of them are off the rails. You had told me you didn't expect Johnny. I didn't. I can't wait for Candice to get on because her and I, from the beginning, knew once they started the whole movie thing and we heard that there was going to be a possession storyline. I knew at some point he was going to be possessed. But it's all right. Let me say it this way: to the powers that be at General Hospital and Days of Our Lives, and I'm going to throw Young and the Restless in this too. When you start an umbrella storyline, you have to continually think about what the core of the storyline is. When you throw so many side directions in, and you're tangling out, 8 tentacles to an octopus. Okay, think about it this way, folks. You never want to get bigger than an octopus because it becomes way too, unbelievable, which it's soap operas, but, even unbelievable for soap operas. And it becomes way too annoying to have to follow all the threads. And then with the history that we've had with these 3 soaps for the last couple of years, 4 or 5 out of those dangling threads never get resolved. And then it'll be mentioned a couple of months down the line in some weird way, half the time not even as a resolution, just as a sort of reminder like, hey, this is hanging out there. And it's all 3 of these soaps, their umbrella storylines are getting so big and so spread across the canvas without anything to tie them together that it's becoming really annoying to watch a lot of it, over the last couple of weeks. And, I have been a GH watcher since I'm 3 years old. I started watching Days back during the original Possession storyline. So I'm invested. Young and the Restless, I started when the ABC soaps went off. I had always, and we've discussed this before on the show, I'd always, during commercials and stuff, popped over to see what was going on. I remember when Phyllis ran Cricket Down, and I remember the emergence of Michael Baldwin. By the way, Christian LeBlanc, stay gray, you go, rock it, work it, you are the man. It's all good, bro. Just had to shout that out.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm invested. But, you know, you can't keep giving us stories and only resolve pieces of it and leave the rest of it like we're supposed to forget that these things happened. And it's not fair.
No.
I'm waiting for Candice because I want to get into the Luke storyline. But, you know, that's – how about you, David? Do you feel, you know, over the last couple of weeks that they're just getting too big of stories?
I think they're trying – I think it seems like they're trying to encompass everyone into one big one and forgetting where the others belong. I mean, sometimes I think some people don't belong in that story.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take General Hospital for example.
Yeah.
You know, okay. So we have the Baby Louise storyline. We
right.
have,
yeah.
by secondary, the Peter August storyline, which encompasses
right.
Finn and Liz. And, I mean, it basically encompasses most of the entire canvas, which is great. Now you bring in Victor.
Good.
It better be explosive. Whatever this core storyline, it better be explosive, and it better explain all the side dangling plots to things. I have a feeling that Marshall is going to play a much, much larger role than what they're setting up right now. I wouldn't be surprised if somehow or another Marshall and Cyrus Renault. No, I think he's tied to Cyrus. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's, you know, especially with Jennifer Smith popping up, if he's tied to that organization back in the past. I would be okay with that. That'd be cool. But I think that they're writing it that he's tied towards Cyrus, and I think eventually we're going to see that Cyrus was somehow tied to Victor as well. That's my theory at the moment. All right. I wanted to wait for Candice, but hopefully she'll be joining us momentarily. I got to ask you, what did you think of the pop-up of Helena at the memorial service?
I think Laura shouldn't have closed it off too soon because I think there's a lot that probably that she had to say about who's ever coming up, and I think people were named in what she had to say, and now that she closed it, I don't know, we're just going to find it in little bits and pieces.
All right,
and
so
I think it's going to start out with Tracy because
I didn't see today yet. Did we see more of the video?
No. We didn't see any more of the video that was shown.
All right, then I'm definitely going to stand by this. There is more to that video. There has to be more to that video. I think
there's a lot more to the video.
Yeah, and if you remember, they sort of did the same thing with the whole portrait, the Nicholas, that whole storyline. They didn't watch the entire thing. They had to go back, and I gotta say, the fact that nobody seems to remember this, like, okay, it wasn't appropriate at the memorial service, but somebody at some point has got to say, hey, we really need to take a look at the rest of that video because, knowing Helena, this means something more than just, ha, 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 I got the last laugh. So to everybody who's on social media going, what a waste, and I am so disappointed, stay tuned, folks. I can almost guarantee it has to be. And if that was it, and we don't see anything more than that, I'm going to be really upset as well. But hold your horses, folks. There's got to be more to that.
There has to be. And I'm sorry that Jennifer isn't going to be on anymore.
Well, we don't know that for sure.
I know that she taped her last. And I think she wrapped it.
For now.
But I hope we see her later. But I think for now.
I can't imagine that they would. It didn't drive the story in any way. So they wouldn't have thrown her. They wouldn't have thrown her in unless they have plans for more. coming down the pike. And that's why I say I think Victor has some sort of connection to Cyrus. I think Cyrus has some sort of connection to Jennifer, and hopefully Marshall as well. Yeah. Because, it would be asinine of them to have 3 different mob stories going on. And actually, right. let me take that back. 4 different mob stories going on, because we have Serena Wu and the whole Brad situation. So those, I can't conceivably see at the moment how Serena would play in with Jennifer Smith or Victor. But if Cyrus is the central catalyst for it all, then it all could make a lot of sense. So I do not think this is this is the end of Jennifer Smith. And I was really intrigued and surprised by the actress that they chose, and in a pleasant way. And that's all I'm going to say on that.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to see her. Because Holly does have a connection to GH, because I know she's Caitlin's coach.
Yep.
If I remember, she mentioned when we had Katie on a couple of years ago, she mentioned her coach's name. She said that she used to be on One Life to Live, and that's her.
Yeah, she also coached Sasha, Sophia Matson.
Oh, she did?
So that's that's 2 connections.
So it makes sense that she did.
Yeah. Do you think do you think that we have heard the end of Alex?
Oh. I wouldn't be surprised if she showed up.
Yeah. I hope so.
Especially now.
I'm trying to stay away from all the Target on topics till Candice gets here. But the fact that they've dropped Alex like 4 or 5 times in the last 2 months, it has to mean something. I hope it means something. It has to mean something.
Well, what did you didn't see GH today?
I didn't see today, but feel free to do a spoiler alert for me, because I probably actually will not see today and tomorrow until like Sunday.
I will give you a hint about baby Louise. Daddy knows.
Peter knows already?
Yep, Victor told him. Victor found out first.
Yeah, and Victor put the sonograms together. Valentine knows already? Okay, then I might have to watch tonight.
Put it together yesterday because if you know, he was talking to Chase about getting the birth certificate changed. And they didn't do that yet, so he was putting it together. And so he put that together today. I said, I'm surprised. He says, what if? And then he got a little, why is Maxie so involved? Why is Maxie so involved in Bailey's life and like that, almost like that? And then he says, what if Brooklyn's not the mother after all? And Maxie is, and says, and so Peter has got to be the father, and they're making all this. And Austin is almost there. Austin's going to be the next to find out. He's almost there because he's in paw talk with Maxie and Felicia and Anna, and he remembers hearing a voice. So it's not too far along before he figures it out.
Well, I got to be honest. I'm going to be happy for this to blow open. It seemed like they were setting us up yet again for Who Killed Peter August storyline, and yet again not happening. So I don't know. there is no way to really redeem this character. So
No.
that part, I'm actually interested in seeing how it plays out. You know, Nina, Sonny, and all that stuff. I got some stuff to say, but I you know what? Let's.
I do like her mess, though. I'm liking the mess.
The what?
I'm not on anyone's side, but I like the mess.
Oh, I'm absolutely loving the mess. And now a lot of things make sense knowing that behind the scenes what was going on with Steve Burton, et cetera, et cetera. I do think that the original story, you know, Candice and I really bantered back and forth, if you remember, and you had kind of taken the same feeling that I really think that they intended to have Sonny come home and not remember, excuse me.
And not remember.
Without his memory and not remember for a while and do a reverse Jason Morgan storyline. And when there was the possibility that, you know, everything was going down with, you know, Steve Burton in real life, they had to quickly adjust and rechange, you know, and revamp that storyline. But I am liking the mess. And if you remember, I'm in the very, very, very minority. I like Mike and Nina. I like that connection. And I like that Sonny hasn't thrown Mike completely off. That he recognizes that that's always going to be a part of him, et cetera, et cetera. I don't like the stupid scenarios that they keep putting them in. You know, I was one of the ones online that was trying to help justify it and all, but you know, there were no children in the house. Nina, should have gone, et cetera, et cetera. Now, again, I didn't see today, so I'm not sure if there's any movement with that. But, you know, they keep putting them in these stupid scenarios that, you know, all of us in real life are saying, you know, they're too smart for this. They're too smart for these scenarios. But why don't we do bold while we wait for Candice? And as I told you before we got online, I haven't seen the last episode I saw was Friday, so catch me up on what happened this week so far.
Okay. Well, so far this week, it's Little Douglas is coming out with I Saw Grandma Kissing Santa Claus, and that finally went into elaboration that Liam and Hope thought it was on. They were talking about the song, and then it says, no, this was New Year's Eve. I saw Grandma kissing Santa Claus. And
so they figured out it was Deacon.
So they figured out, and so they're trying. They think, well, maybe Douglas is being, you know, a kid and making things up, and he's trying to get through to Liam and Hope. No, that is not what's going on. I saw Grandma kissing Santa Claus, and it was on New Year's Eve. So they both said that they believed him. So Hope went to see Brooke and to see how she was doing. And she said that Douglas came by and picked up his toys, and he saw you through the window, and he said that you were kissing Santa Claus. And Brooke got a little giddy and embarrassed and had to admit that she was right. You know, there was someone here. It said it was Deacon, your father. And you see, Hope took a deep breath, and it says, because Brooke was filling her in on what happened, she doesn't know how she got drunk. They got to figure that out. And she got toasted, and she was drinking with him. She kissed him, and went in the fact that he brought her up to the bed. She woke up in bed with him, although he was on top of the sheets. And nothing happened, but, you know, Brooke is scared to death because that won't matter to Ridge one way or another. So she comes down after that. She breaks the news to Liam yesterday, tells him the truth. And in the meantime, yesterday, so Douglas went on a little spree because Thomas had him, and he was telling Steffi and Ridge and Thomas the same thing. And then they're trying to remember where he heard it and like that. Says they want to know what Grandma was saying, but Hope got smart and decided that she wanted Douglas to come home to him, so she had called over there and said, I forgot, I misread, I needed Douglas home with me. And that's, so Thomas brought him back over to Hope and Liam's apartment and let him stay. And they didn't hear any more of that, just that they know that Grandma was kissing Santa Claus over there, and Brooke was trying to say, was trying to do, the little dissuasion to Douglas by himself. It's okay. We don't have to talk about this anymore. And she says we don't have to bring it up anymore. And
I don't like the direction, but okay. All right,
that's
so
where we are. I don't know what's happening today yet. I got to see it. So
I've been as faithful,
what do you think?
As I. So I want to ask you a question. I've been as faithful as I can be, watching as many episodes as I can, but on 4 shows, work, et cetera, I try to do.
Yeah, I know them.
Did I miss anything between Deacon and Sheila? Because I really feel like this is a Deacon and Sheila plot. Did I miss anything? Do we know for sure that they're working together?
Deacon is claiming. Oh, she's here. Good. Deacon is claiming. Hold on. Let me see if I can get her in. She's here. Hi, honey.
Hi.
We're doing B&B.
Okay.
And Anthony asked, do we know for sure if this is a Deacon and Sheila plot? And I'm saying no, because this is Sheila doing it alone.
It's Sheila.
Yeah, it's Sheila alone.
Unless they pull a fast one, I'm going to say this. Unless they pull a fast one and say that Deacon and her have been plotting, to help for her to get what she wants and what he can get, stuff. And I'm going to say if they do that, I'm going to be really upset at Deacon.
Yeah, because he wanted to pull away from her.
Yeah, but you know what? Deacon is too smart to get ensnared like that. So, if they're not working together, then it seems like he's too smart to have gotten ensnared that way. So right. I'm leaning more towards we're going to get that second shoe drop. Some conversation, something that lets us know at some point that they've been in it. They've been in it together for a lot longer than we. Yeah. Because otherwise it just doesn't seem to make sense to me at this moment. And I'm pretty up to date. I don't know how many episodes, over the last 2 months that I've missed, but I'm pretty up to date. So I didn't think that I missed anything between Deacon and Sheila. But otherwise it just doesn't make sense to me.
Well,
Right.
you know that
like
Sheila did switch bottles. That's how she got drunk.
Mm-hmm.
Sheila did switch the she put alcoholic.
Oh, no. I
beverage.
know that part. But again.
You did know. Okay, good.
Yeah, Deacon's not that stupid. He would have figured out that something was, something was wrong.
Yeah,
so that's
I
why I'm
so
saying,
too.
I'm waiting for that second shoe to drop. I don't know.
It's kind of messy because it's like the fact that here's Deacon trying to start a better life and everything. And yeah, there is some. I will say this: there is certain parts where you do question, like, okay, is Deacon acting like the good guy he's supposed to be, or is this a front? It's something. But I think we've all said this, is that, okay, when everything comes out, if you still make Deacon the bad guy in all of this, then it's going to be like, okay, so what's all this, like, really for? Like, we all know your obsession with Brooke is not this. I mean, look, I'm just saying. But like the mysterious, oh my God, Thomas has been pining over Hope for all these years, that came up out of nowhere. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really hope it's not that. That's going to drive me absolutely
Plus,
insane.
you also want to risk losing your relationship with Hope.
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't, and if he wants to be the good guy and he's trying to, to make Brooke believe, then he couldn't possibly have missed the fact that she was sloshed. She was poop-faced.
Right.
It screams Sheila and Deacon. Now, I would love if they threw us for a complete curveball, and it's Deacon and Quinn, and they're working both Sheila, Deacon and Quinn working both Sheila and Brooke. That would make me very, very happy.
Yeah, that would be interesting, because you do need to have Quinn, and I know because Renee's been busy, she was overseas and stuff. I would love for Quinn to kind of be into this. I like Taylor being in this, because I feel as though with Taylor, because she's Sheila's therapist, which I'm like, okay. Current, so, the patient-doctor confidentiality, I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. But also, like, let's not forget Taylor and Brooke's history. So I'm like, that's an interesting part of the story, is that Taylor is in it, where she could either help Brooke and hold it, and, kind of also destroy Brooke, and like, well, you know what, Karma is me from Ridge, so it's like, I have something that I could either help you with, or I could really screw you.
Yeah, I agree with you. Stay with me, Candice, because Anthony dropped on us.
Oh, okay.
Hoping he calls back. I'm hoping he can call back. I hate these studios make me nervous.
Mm.
Yeah, so, they keep on switching. They keep on switching the story out, and
right.
So they have, like I said, they have to find out. They have to find out that Sheila switched that somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, it's either somebody saw her do it, the video camera. Like, now that was the thing that we were all talking about. It's like, okay, what if there's a video camera, and if the surveillance camera or something could, and saw it has footage of Sheila, doing what she did. Question is, okay, let's just say hypothetically, Deacon sees it. Is he going to, quote unquote, tell the truth, or quote unquote withhold it so he can have a relationship with Brooke, and and kind of destroy Ridge? Because not for nothing, Deacon doesn't like Ridge, and obviously Ridge doesn't like Deacon. So it's sort of like, okay, Deacon could be doing the right thing, or he can use it to his advantage, but also kind of blackmail Sheila in this. Where Deacon, like, Sheila would have to do what Deacon tells her, or it goes either or.
It could. Or Taylor. Taylor could figure it out from her too, huh?
Mhm.
So somehow it's got to get in there, but I know Taylor seems a little leery of her right now.
Yeah.
She senses something, but
Mhm.
I like her eye. I like Taylor's eye. She's keeping an eye on her. And, all that she's been through, and because of her, that I'm liking that she's trying to keep an open mind and not use her emotion, but just keep a steady look on her without judging. That way she'll slip on her own.
Right.
And I think that's what she's hoping for. They're always back. Good. All right. Let's get him back in. Let's get him back.
All right. I don't know what happened. I got thrown off.
You got thrown off. You're here.
I got thrown off, and I'm like, what the heck happened?
I'm glad you.
So where were we?
It was Sheila. It was Sheila.
We're talking about Sheila and how the truth has to come out. That Sheila was the one who spiked Brooke.
Yeah, and it's like, and I was saying that there has to be a surveillance camera. If it's going to be at a bar or whatnot, they always have a surveillance camera. But the question is, who's going to see it first? If Deacon sees it, okay, and he sees that Sheila did it, he could blackmail Sheila into doing whatever, you know. But then it's going to be, okay, Deacon, you have proof that, you know, something that Brooke was drunk, you know, and everything. You can either be the stand-up guy and say, hey, you know what, here's the reason Brooke and, you know, da-da-da-da-da. Or he could be typical Deacon Sharp and not release that tape, not let anybody see it.
But here's the thing, okay? So if he does anything other than release it immediately, there's no redemption for him because he took her upstairs. He took her upstairs, and you can't possibly not have known that she was 3 sheets and a blanket to the wind. So I don't know. I love it if.
But see, I don't think. I would say that because it was a kiss. Because I know when we get to another show, it's going to be that's going to be it. It was a kiss. It wasn't, you know, them having sex. You know.
Right. They weren't.
It would have been a complete different take if, you know, again, if they did have sex and whatnot, and he withhold that tape. That would be a completely different scenario. That would be a completely. I would agree with you. It's like, dag man, you really are the bad man because you know that this girl was under the influence of alcohol, and you still you're not gonna try to help her with her that's mean. I think.
All right, wait, hold on, stay right there for 1 second because we're gonna talk about this other show in a minute though. But at that moment, you carried her upstairs. Why didn't you go back downstairs and call somebody? And call somebody.
I agree with you.
And say she's not in her right mind. She didn't drink anything alcoholic based upon, you know, what's here. So something's not right. One of you, you know, whether it be Hope, whether it be Ridge. Yeah. So that's what's really.
Yeah. After the fact.
Because but I also think too is that, you know, when we get to this other show too, we got to think, you know, for soap opera purpose, right? They're trying to make it dramatic. Like, sometimes I think we do still, you know, look at the situation in real time. Like, okay, real scenario. Anthony, if I saw you in that condition, whatnot, or you guys saw me in a condition like that, I'm pretty sure one of y'all would be calling somebody that's close to me or even freaking call 911 or something to find out what the heck is going on instead of just letting it be. You know, because something else could be happening at the same time. Taking a break soon, you know, and then having Taylor and all that stuff. It's like, oh, well, Brooke has been, quote unquote, living on her high horse. Now somebody's, you know, now she has something that's going to really knock her off the pedestal. The whole destiny forever might be, you know, up in the air. And you have, you know, the hypocritical heroines and all that stuff looking upon her. I'm just like, okay, to me, I'm now at this point where it's like, what's about to go down, and it needs to happen. Not somebody needs to find out something instead of just kind of dragging it on. Because I'm looking at poor Douglas. I'm like, Douglas is Stephanie Forrester, mini me.
Yep.
That's Stephanie Douglas Forrester right there in Douglas. I'm like, y'all always. I looked to my aunt. I said, y'all always thought it was Stephanie. I said it's Douglas. Douglas will be singing to the canary like I saw Grandma kissing Santa Claus. Who's Santa Claus?
I know.
Well,
here's my theory. Okay,
hang on, guys. We have a caller, and why don't you talk to yourself? I'm going to find out who this caller is. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So here's my theory, Candice. I think that they're setting up the next round of Ridge and Taylor, and we don't know how long. What's her name?
Kristen
Allen. Chris, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know how long she's actually. I think they're setting up the next round of Brooke and Taylor, and they're going to go off together, and that's going to explain Ridge's absence. And
that's what I said too.
Everything's going to be in flux. But here's the thing: we were talking before you got on. It's very disconcerting to the audience. And now that I think about it, we were only talking about 3 soaps, Young and the Restless, Days of Our Lives, and General Hospital. But now that I think about it, and we're talking about Bold and Beautiful, okay, all 4 of you are guilty of this. You can't throw reality at us and the suspension of disbelief in the same storyline. It's not fair to the audience, and you can't leave all these threads dangling. That's what we were talking about, basically, that these stories are becoming so big that there's all these threads dangling, and you only answer half or even less than half of them, and then you'll reference 1 or 2 of the threads months down the line. You can't throw all this at a storyline and expect the viewers to either you're in a reality. And I understand you can have 2 different storylines that's reality-based and one that's more suspension of disbelief. That's fine with me. But you can't – hold on one second. Let me just finish this point.
Yep.
Go ahead.
All right, go finish. You ready?
I was just going to say you can't ask us as viewers to accept in the same exact storyline a suspension of belief on these pieces, but we got to stay in reality-based for these pieces. It's not fair to the audience, and it's not good storytelling. True. So go ahead, David. Who's our caller?
We have someone named Joe, and he wants to talk about General Hospital with you.
All right, Joe. Real quick, hold on 1 second.
Joe, you're on the air.
Okay.
What is your GH question?
Well, I used to watch General Hospital a lot many years ago when Tony Geary was the lead actor. I know he's retired. I wanted to find out, does anybody know what happened to him subsequent to his retirement?
He had been living both between Amsterdam and Los Angeles for a very long time. And all those breaks where Luke would be off on an adventure, or Luke was off, finding himself, or Luke was dealing with the fact that he might have run over Jake. All of those absences was his time in Amsterdam, and it was written into his contract, and a lot of folks were grateful that he was on screen. When he was on screen, a lot of other folks were like, why is that, why does he get that treatment and others don't? And at some point he decided, he'd been playing Luke for basically 40 years and he was done. But with the current storyline, I'm really, really, really wondering if we are about to see a resurgence of Luke.
Yep.
So, over the past few years, he has been making some cameo appearances then.
Not since 2015, 16?
Yeah, when Jane Elliott left. So, when Jane Elliott left the show...
States. Yeah, he came back to the States for a couple of, he did Broadway Cares. He did a couple of things soap opera related, but when he left, he left. He hasn't been back on the show itself since he left.
Okay, that's where all right. So since he hasn't been on the show, I know he was supposed to go to Amsterdam, so okay, he's gone there. Is he still there, or does he travel back and forth between Amsterdam and the States every once in a while? Does he make any kind of appearances, or is he just really retired?
Okay, so he was in the States, I want to say September, and people speculated, that he was going to pop back on GH. We're past the September filming cycle, so obviously that wasn't for him filming at GH. But he's been back and forth a lot for small, mini vacations or whatever you want to call it. He's done a couple of press appearances, the most notable being Broadway Cares. But no, we have no knowledge of whether he is back in the States. There's been nothing like he's filming or anything like that. So, but looking at knowing GH the way we know it and looking at the way they're playing their story out, I am pretty damn sure that he's going to pop up in the end of February, early March.
Okay. Well, thanks. That's what I wanted to know. Because as far as I was concerned, he was the best soap opera on TV. He was very powerful playing in that particular role. And he's the only person I know of that would be willing to actually give up his fame and really go someplace in order to remain anonymous. So, okay. Well, thanks, guys. That was it. I'll let you guys get back to the show. Thank you much.
Thank you much.
Joe, for calling.
And hey, if you're out there listening live, David, give them, because I don't know it off the top of my head, give them the number to call in.
To call in, it's 718-506-1540, and press 1, and I will see a hand next to your number, which means you want to be picked up.
All right, folks. We'd love to hear from you.
That was a nice one. I think I know who that is.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I think he retweeted us.
In the interest of time management, Candice, is there anything else you want to touch on B&B?
I just need for Dr. Bridget Jones to come to, Bridget Forrester to come back to her hometown and talk to her mama and her sister and see her ex-husband, the one that took her virginity.
Yep.
I agree with you 740,000%. I mean, the fact that all this is going on and we haven't even had a phone call, with the character being off screen annoys the crap out of me. One thing I just wanted to highlight B&B for before we go over to Genoa City is the Betty White episode. It was not what I envisioned. It was not what I would have done if I was the writer / director / executive producer. But I want to thank them for doing the episode. And ultimately, it left me wanting more, but I'm glad they did it.
Oh, of course.
How about you, Candice?
Okay. So I'm going to be the one to kind of say, because I think a lot of people misinterpret what was said they were going to do. They were going to dedicate the episode, not have like it be a whole episode of Betty White or whatnot, because that's what it was. It was like at the end they dedicated the episode. They showed the title card. However, with that being said, if you go over, I'm going to plug this right now. If you go into Bold and Beautiful's official site, they actually have the Ann Douglas storyline. So for those who missed it, you can see why we kept saying Betty freaking White dominated that role. She was role. She was not from Mama's Family. She was not the Betty White from the Betty White show that did Policewoman.
No.
That undercover cop. She was not the Mary Tyler Moore character. Like, this was a real dramatic turn for her, to a point where I didn't even like the character of Ann, but I love Betty White. So, but they have the whole storyline segment. Also, they did an interview with some of the people that worked closely to her when she was on the show. John McCook, Catherine Callahan, and they all shared their memories of Betty White on. So I did understand the heat of what they did, but I understood what they were doing. But yeah, I was like this. I was like, dang, I couldn't stand Ann. I couldn't stand her. I was like, ooh, I couldn't stand her. Like, she didn't understand, but then I was like, it's Betty White.
But
I was like,
in a way,
the power of Betty
don't
White.
you feel like Ann Douglas was the Helena Cassadine of Bold and Beautiful?
No. You know who she reminded me of? I'm going to tell you who she reminded me of. You got to go back to Capitol. For those who know what I'm about to say. See?
Yes, girl. Yes. Go ahead.
You know who? You know who I'm talking about. To me, she played. Okay, so for those who are too young, and I should calculate myself because I was technically 5 years old, but I still remember the show. Capitol was set in Washington, D.C. It was political. The glitz and the drama. It was the Reagan administration, so that's what they based it off of. Marcia Say, she played a character that she was tough as nails, but she was also very I don't want to say naive, but she didn't calculate a lot of people's feelings. So with Betty White's character of Ann Douglas, okay, Ann kind of turned a blind eye to Stephanie, the OG Stephanie's quote-unquote abuse, technically. But notice everything Pam with the lemon bars, so Pam with the nice little dress and the other stuff. So she could have stopped the Pam stuff, but some of the stuff that Stephanie was going through with their dad,
okay,
and then Ann would defend the father.
Hey, we have someone. We got Nathan on the line who wants to put his 5 cents in about Betty White.
All right.
Go ahead, Nathan.
I love this caller participation. Go on, Mason. Welcome to Take Two Radio Soaps.
Thank you very much for having me on. I appreciate it. I wanted to ask a question about the episode dedicated to Betty White. Do you think it would have been better for the Bold and Beautiful to incorporate having Eric, Pam, and maybe a couple others talk about Anne and any, and featuring the flashbacks and stuff? Because I felt that they could have done much more to honor Betty White's character. And even though she was not a long-term character on that show, she was a big part. She was, I think very important to Stephanie and Pam.
Let me just go ahead and say this. I think because this was a unexpected situation of Betty White stuff. I mean, that took us all by surprise, literally. Okay, we all, we never thought it was going to happen, right? I think because Bold and Beautiful, obviously they taped so far in advance and everything, they did the best they could. And I do agree that down the line, they may do something like that where Pam maybe remembers the anniversary of their mom's death, and they show the flashback. They could do that. Do I think they're going to do that? No. I'm going to be honest, at this point, I'll take whatever I can get. I think it was nice for them because a lot of people did say during Betty White's passing, everybody was talking about Golden Girls and, but people was bringing up Bold and Beautiful, and I think that's a testament to her and Bold because, again, you think Golden Girls. But if down the line they do it, I won't be mad. But for right now, I think that's, they had to do something to, on
right.
Like kind of just like that. So
I'm going to step in here, and the reason I brought this piece of the conversation up is because exactly what you just said is what I keep seeing on social media. I personally think, so here's the facts. There are 2 soap operas who have dominated the world stage. Back in the day, it was Santa Barbara, and now it's The Bold and the Beautiful. Bold and the Beautiful is shown in 70-something countries around the world, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It is the most watched soap opera as far as the world is concerned, and the world was watching to see that Bold and Beautiful would do something. I'm glad they did something. Like Candice said, if at some point they decide on the anniversary of the actual character's death, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I think – with the time, it's not like an Asa Buchanan. It's not like, a character that has been on the show for years, an Erica Kane or really Myrtle, because Myrtle's gone. It's not one of those characters that was years and years and years of fan loyalty. The fact that, Betty White, when she came on to The Bold and the Beautiful, it was huge. It was huge news at the time because, this woman had the career. She did not have to take that kind of a role. But she did it. She blew it out of the park. She was phenomenal. She was great. And so they paid their legacy. I think we're done with it. But if they did somehow down the line do a flashback show, I wouldn't be upset.
I wouldn't either. I love it.
And Mason, any follow-up?
No, that's about it. Thank you guys for having me on, and I want to give a big shout-out to Party Will. He's my partner in crime when we do fanfics together on either Wattpad or fanfiction, so I just want to give a shout-out to him.
All right, we can't wait to have Willie back. Absolutely. And episode 4, you might hear me as mayor, and I'll be back soon. But go on. Let's transition over to Genoa City. And David, you've been the most quiet of us tonight. So why don't you fill us in on what's gone on in the last 2 weeks in Genoa City?
Oh God! All right. Well, the custody thing has come to a head. I don't know about any one of you, but I'm a little disappointed because I was expecting the drama of a trial, and they all settled it. I know, Candice, you're feeling it too, aren't you?
I'll file my
and they settled it out of step and out of time, and Devon gets partial. Is that joint? Candice?
Yeah, joint custody.
It's joint custody.
Devon got joint custody, and already he asked for another favor right after that because he wanted Dominic to stay with him. Okay, that said, going over to Mariah and Tessa, they have gotten engaged. They're looking into adoption. And Anthony, I'm sorry, but Noah is peeking in. He is sad. And I do not like this where it is going. I know you hope it wasn't going this way. I did not want to see it go this way either.
Sadly, I did. I saw this happening.
No, you did. You saw it coming, and I saw it coming, but I was praying. I was begging and praying. I gotta say, for
you were praying to soap Jesus.
I was praying to soap Jesus. I was praying to Mary Magdalene. I was praying to the Virgin. I was even praying to Buddha, just in case he had a little bit of sway with whatever higher power is the supreme higher power. I even sent a message out through my computer out into the universe in case the aliens were in charge, just in case. But I had to file my paperwork. I am going through a legal separation with the Young and the Restless right now. I am so upset right now. I'm so upset. Candice, talk for a minute while I compose myself because I am that upset.
Anthony's getting.
Okay. So I'm just going to say it for anybody who has heard my voice in the last 3 weeks and everything. I was hyping myself up. I know I was. I was like, okay, there's going to be a courtroom battle. You're going to have Victor. You're going to have Ashley. You're going to have all these people kind of just like, airing out certain things. And sort of like what General Hospital did a couple of months ago when Sonny walked in and didn't say anything to Carly and Jason about the merits and convenience. I felt like that again. I felt as though Young and the Restless missed a huge opportunity to have the powerful families of Genoa City in a courtroom battling over this child. And I know what some people are saying right now. Devon is not the father. Why is he still calling himself? Okay, now here's the thing. They did play the certain beats that I was asking for. You did play the beat of Devon and about Neil, about the biological versus the, adoptive parents. I appreciate that. Thank you. And the fact that he never got over the loss of his first child with Hillary. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. Abby.
Yes.
Abby has daddy issues too. Remember, Brad was her daddy, but it came up to be Victor Newman. Okay. And then we got to look at Chance. Here's the thing, folks. His dad died, allegedly. And then Ryan was his father for a very long time until Ryan was shot by that Trisha. I ain't still forget that. Okay, that's a different topic for another day. But three of these all three of these people have major daddy issues, and they have parenting issues. I was like, okay, this is going to be good. Like, you're finally, a year later, going to get to the thickness of this storyline. We're about to get some dramatic. Friendships are going to be broken. On today's Young and the Restless After School Break special, do you want Devon to be a part of your life? Yes. Okay, everybody hug.
Everybody hug.
That's what happened. That's literally what happened. It was like a freaking like Disney made-for-TV movie that used to be on back in the day where everybody takes the cheesy photo and everybody's like, "Aww." everybody worked it all out.
It was a 2-hour movie, and we were an hour and 44 minutes in, and they went to commercial break, and there was all kinds of drama.
And then they had they had the cheesy music. They had the cheesy music. Da, 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 da. Are you going to be okay on today's special Brady Bunch episode? Like, that's literally what it was. And it was like, I'm going to say this. Young and Restless, you understood the assignment of Emmy Reels. I will say that. You understood that assignment pretty well, the Emmy Reels for the next go-around. But what you didn't do was you didn't play the certain beat. Because, even though this was a storyline that a lot of fans was not invested in because there was so many change-ups, actors leaving, quote-unquote, stuff was you really lost all points with the storyline when you did all that. Just because you didn't want to fracture the relationship of Abby and Devon, can I be honest for a second? You should have went and did it. So what? Devon would be the bad person. Abby would be the bad person. Chance is over there suffering with PSA. He wants to be a part-time daddy. Oh, okay. You lost the assignment, and I'm sorry. Like, Devon, honey, Devon, I need you to listen, okay? Listen to Candice. You was just a donor. You signed all your legal parental rights away. Amanda told you. This was going to happen. You was going to get emotionally connected. The same thing with Mariah. You see how Mariah had an excuse. She held on to that baby because they were sharing a traumatic experience. But she's kind of slowly let go. Devon, I understand. You lost your first child. Abby, I understand. You can't have children because you lost your first child because of Stitch's Brett's kid. I get all of that. But seriously, not for nothing, and with Chance. The only thing that Chance had was he had a low sperm count because he got shot. And it wasn't like you guys couldn't have another kid down the line or do another, incubator or whatever. But this, like, I defended for this story to happen the way that it did. I'm like, okay, cute kid. But I felt nothing but a slap in my face.
Exactly. Okay, so I'm going to bring it to this level.
For great acting.
No, yes, absolutely. You hit the nail on the head with the Emmy Reel performances. But here's the thing, and this is to all 4 soaps, but most especially to The Young and the Restless. There are 3 major dynamics that every soap fan is waiting for. The first is, whether it be Jason Morgan, whether it be, whatever it be, we're waiting for that flip out, where somebody at a memorial service just jumps up and says, okay, enough. Nobody's ever dead in this town. You've come back. No. You've come back. You've come back. Nobody's dead. I'm done. I'm out of here. You know they're not really dead. There's no body. I don't know whose ashes that are, but it ain't Jason because, nobody's ever dead. That's one. Every soap fan is waiting for that one moment where we get that. And every soap fan for the 4 remaining soaps are waiting for that story that conglomerates just about every major family in the orbit, where they get to finally point all the fingers. They get to air all the dirty laundry. They get the catharsis moments. They get the heated moments, et cetera, et cetera. You just wadded that up like a tissue that we just blew our nose into and tossed it into the trash can. It was the perfect storyline set up to expose, reignite, and solve a whole lot of drama between the families of Genoa City. It was so ready and rife for everyone to pick sides, for everyone to have those battle moments where they have to decide who's more important, because all the families, obviously, in every single soap opera are so intermingled that there's no clear and patent loyalty. Everybody in Genoa City has a mixed bag of, I feel a little bit for Abby, I feel a little bit for Devon, et cetera, et cetera. It was so ripe for drama, for true on, in the afternoon, blow you out of your seat drama, and you did us dirty. You gave us that Seventh Heaven, the early days of Beverly Hills 90210. You gave us that wrap up like, and it's all tied up neatly in a bow. And that don't happen in real life. It don't happen in soap operas unless you're tired of a storyline and you can't figure out how to get out of it.
Right.
So you left so many viewers feeling like exactly like Candice just said. We were slapped across the face with a dirty pulled out of the river salmon.
And let me just say this too, because
go ahead.
Let me just say this. The thing is, okay, because somebody did ask me the question. They was like, okay, Candice, so who do you feel bad for between Abby, Devon, and Chance? To be completely honest, I felt bad for Chance and Devon. And I'm going to tell you why. Because, again, Devon, to me, the fact that Devon would be willing to do this, considering the fact that he lost his first, let me say that again, first baby, without really, he had all that, anticipation about being a daddy, right? And the fact that he was willing, he's like, I'm going to be the fun. That line still irks me. I gave it up because I just want to be the fun uncle. Okay, darn good well you couldn't do that. You could not play that because, again, when he made connections to that child, that was a deadlock. When he had, I felt as though, like, out of all the storylines, out of all the storylines, you had the Neil part into it. That's why I felt bad for Devon and for Chance. But
okay, wait. Let me stop you right there. Before keep what you're about to say in mind. But I have to say this: it was a slap in the face to the character of Neil, the way they played it out as well. I'm sorry, but it was. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, for Chance, obviously he's suffering PTSD, and that's and I was like, damn, I feel really bad for him because, like, he's acknowledging that he can't deal with this, but he's trying to put on a front. He's trying, and that's in character, by the way, because I know somebody said, well, that's not in Chance's character. I'm like, okay, seriously,
yes, it is.
The grown-up version.
Oh, yes,
the
it
grown-up
is.
version. Well, here's the thing, because I think some people are new to the fact that Chancellor is, quote-unquote, still a new character, but it goes back to when John Driscoll played the role, to when Don played, and now with Connor, is that he's always been an upstanding guy. He's always been trying to do the right thing. He's always been, putting others before his own. Yeah, he faked his death before, too. But still, I'm just like, okay, but girl, how? Why? And I get it. But, yeah, you, like, clear, and I get what Young and the Russells was trying to do, and they didn't do it right. They did not. If they were going to try to make us pick and choose the size and everything, I would have been for it. I would have been like, oh, yeah, okay. Like, they do.
Okay,
like,
girl.
okay, yeah.
They were trying to make us pick sides. They should have had Abby say, you know what? I thought I could do this. I don't feel anything for this child. I wanted to.
Well, no, not only that. But wait, Anthony, you forgot a major point that just happened not that long ago. Abby went ahead and dropped off that child at Devon to look for Chance. If I was Devon and Amanda, to be honest, to state my case, I'd be like, yeah, she just dropped the kid off, didn't even tell her family where she's going at, nothing like that. Because that's why Victor said, well, she could have called one of us, and we could have helped. Why didn't you go to your family? You made a connection. You put Devon in that position, Abby. You did that. You relied too heavy on him.
But here's the thing: if you really want to do the storyline, then have Abby stand up and say, you know what? I wanted desperately, with everything inside me, to actually feel like a mother to this child. But for whatever reason, I can't do it. I can't do it.
And there was times
this
that
whole
we thought she was
wishy-washy crap.
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah. No, the whole wishy-washy crap. Yep.
Yeah. And we saw that play out on the show. They didn't go with it. And here's the thing, and I'm gonna say to all four soaps, stop chickening out. Because seriously, it's getting to a point where we soap fans are like, okay, we can't even calculate, we can't even like really say you guys are going to give us anything anymore. There's no surprises. There's no like,
Yeah.
I understand all the shows are trying to do like the big surprise, like, oh, y'all, we got something y'all groundbreaking. We got something y'all ain't gonna never forget about. Da 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 da. But guess what? I'm gonna be honest with you. There's something called Primetime. There's something called Netflix. There's something called Amazon, Hulu, Forever and a Day, which comes back February 7th. But there's other stuff that will give us exactly what we're asking for. And you guys are chickening out. I'm sorry. Like,
no, Candice, you're preaching to the choir. David and I were talking about this before you got on air. And they have to stop baiting us and then switching out with the, the secondary, no level storyline wrap up. They bait us to get to the point where, oh my God, it's going to be, this is it. And then it's nothing. And back in the day, when you had the adventure storylines, when you had the cross canvas, this went on for 13 weeks, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You had the full arc of a story. What they're giving us is the beginning of the arc. Then they want to, throw in all of this weird crap, and then they want to pretend that where we were going with this storyline isn't where we're going. Now, with Jason Morgan, that one instance for General Hospital, I will say, I think that they worked it as best as they possibly could, knowing behind the scenes that this probably wasn't going to work out. David and I are pretty much in agreement that the original storyline that they were proposing was Sonny was going to come home with still not having his memory, and he was going to be the reverse Jason Morgan. When all the behind-the-scenes drama had started happening, they had to revamp as much as they possibly could.
I'm going to say 50% of that is true, but 50% is I feel as though that they didn't want to upset a lot of people. They don't like, and that's my thing is that I'm sorry. Look, we soap fans. Look, we've been around for a long time. Okay, we all remember when there was 5 soaps on the network, and to me, it's like, you're going to upset fans. Point blank. Period. You're going to upset some fans. Can't be all kumbaya with everybody, because if you're all kumbaya with everybody, that means that you are just going to give us, quote unquote, a nice wrap up to a story arc, and that it's like, okay, we're all like, it's family ties. Da-na-na-na. Like, you can't do that. Like, give us the drama. Young and Restless, you're in desperate need of drama, and I'm going to be honest with you. Next year is your 50th anniversary. Next year will mark 50 years that you've been on the air. By the grace of the good soap Lord, you've been on, and you've been number one for over 31 years. I'm going to tell you something right now. I don't wish any, I can't say that word about a soap being, it starts with a C. You know what it works. And I don't want to wish that on these 4 soaps. Here's the thing. All 4 soaps, you got to understand the assignment. Each one of you 4 have to wow us. You have to impress us. You have to get us talking about the storylines. Like, hey, David Anthony, did you see today? It is Wednesday. It is Thursday. It's not even a Friday cliffhanger. Oh, my God, I can't wait till tomorrow, though.
Girl, I'm going to throw something out to you right now. And it was very unpopular in the way that they did it, but it had the whole world, not just the soap world. It had the whole world talking. And I'm going to point to Another World and The Killing of Frankie.
Oh, my God.
Oh, you're going to get Candice started. Oh, that. I think I was watching then.
No, I got one even better. Oh, God. Wait a minute. Woo! You just had to go there, right? Here's the thing. Did. Literally.
And I have a second one after you answer this, because I have a second one too.
Okay.
But go ahead.
Here's the thing. I always say the 90s are, quote unquote, the classic soap era. There's a reason I say this. Not only did you have the shocking surprises, surprising couples, like you never thought these 2 people would actually hook up and everything, because we've been so completed to, certain things. But you did have the shocking moments. You had Maureen Bauer finding out about
Annie and Josh.
Annie and Josh. You had. Well, hey now, woo, yeah.
Girl, come on now.
You had triangles. You had triangles without a mental disorder, a la triangles they ever did. Holden, Lily, and Damien. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Like you could. You couldn't come at me any harder than that, where you had a, stable couple who was like, oh, love. And you actually threw in the third one. Actually, no, I take that back. Days of Our Lives, you had it going too. You was popping it like crazy too when you gave me Hope, Bo, and freaking Billy. I was trying to get clutch. I mean, you had certain things. And then, again, like you said, shocking deaths that we never saw, originality storylines and stuff like that. Now, fast forward, we're now in 2022. We have digital shows that we can watch. We have shows like Just Like That. We have Grey's Anatomy. We have, Abbott Elementary, which is a good show. Check it out, ABC. Thank you. We have all of these alternatives for things that you guys should be giving us. There's a reason why this genre has been around for 90 years. There's a reason why CBS, NBC, and ABC, you guys have 4 soaps you have 4 soaps, okay? 2 on CBS, 1 on NBC and ABC. These are your landmark shows. This is why we've been day in and day out. We've been watching your shows for 56 years, for 55 years, for going on 35 years for both, and
going on 60.
Going
on 60 for General Hospital. Yep.
Right, going on 60 for General Hospital. To me, my thing is, like, when you do a storyline like this, Young and the Restless, and here's the thing, Young and the Restless, I'm going to be completely honest with you, from one fan that loves you, okay, that loves you. You have been letting me and everybody else down in certain parts. Now, I will say this, the Mariah and Tessa thing, thank you, okay?
Yes,
but I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say it. At first, I was like, are y'all going to pull the All My Children on me? And when people had messaged me, they was like,
I know what you mean.
That? And I said, Bianca reasons that. But with Noah, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to like this, but I have a funny feeling that y'all about to harm that boy.
Yeah.
You're going to make Noah go into a depression state. And I'm not going to like if you do what I think you're going to do. If you do it, I'm going to be honest with you, it's not going to be good. And for those who want to know what I was thinking, here's what Candice is thinking. Based off of what I've seen, and because he's like, oh, because he got drunk, and he's like, I still love you, Tessa. Okay, did we not remember Tessa and Noah and the fact that Tessa was kind of conning Noah a little bit? Let's go back to the Mal Young days, because I feel as though Sally and Kate here. Like, to me, I feel as though sometimes these writers need a, refresher course. And, hey, look, if you don't know where to go, come up to Take Two Radio. We'll gladly help you out. But
exactly. Thank you.
To me, it's like we went through the whole Noah. You were upset, Noah. Remember, at Tessa and Mariah, you kind of got over it, allegedly. So are we about to do what we did to Vinny over on Bold and Beautiful? Are we about to sacrifice Noah?
Do not.
Girlfriend, what I say to the Young and the Restless is this. Go back and watch the entire storyline, Manning, on One Life to Live.
One Life to Live.
Rapist, et cetera, et cetera. Turns out to be the long-lost half-brother of Vicky, et cetera, et cetera. That is the way that you turn a character into something that everybody – you can love him and want him to succeed, or you can hate him and you want him to fall. But either way, you want to watch. You want to see him. You want to see what's going on. If you want to build this kind of storyline, you got to give us something. You got to give us something to root for in all of this. And we can't really root for Devon. We can't really root for Abby. Mariah and Tessa are out of the mix now, so you've left us with what the humana. This doesn't give us the Jillies. It doesn't give us the Wallies, and so we're just waiting for it to be over. It's Amanda's storyline part 2 to a certain extent. And
because I really and I'm being honest, I didn't care about the Amanda storyline. To be honest,
no, because you dragged it out. And they did the same thing with the baby. They put it in so many various directions that the conclusion, the outlier where we are right now, it's like, okay, it happened. We're over it. Thank God. Let's move on to something else. Rather than this is a satisfactory conclusion to this arcing umbrella storyline that's been going on for over a year.
Yeah.
And they get away with it because the storyline has been so bad for the last couple of months that now that it's finally over, we'd rather say, okay, we'll deal with this now and move on than be stuck in the stupidity of what the storyline has been the last couple of months.
I'm gonna be honest, Young and Restless. The only thing that I'm looking forward to is, besides Mariah and Tessa stuff, because I thought that was really cute, double engagement, like both proposing to each other. I'm like, and Cameron Grimes is living her best life. She is engaged in real life and on screen. I'm like, get it, girl. Like, thank you. But also,
right?
I mean, finally, we got some stuff going with Ashley Locker, and look, let me just say it now. Yep. Richard, I will miss you. I will miss you because you did a good job as Ashley Locker. I did. But when I heard that Robert Newman was coming in, starting next month, I was like, Candice dream come true. Say, what? Like, we got Robert Newman.
You see that he's not going to be Ashlyn as Ashlyn. You do see that, right?
Right.
I don't.
But
you
here's
see?
the thing. But I'm going to be honest with you. Can I tell you what I'm looking at, Anthony? I'm looking at movement for this storyline. Because what I'm noticing, I don't know if anybody else is feeling this way, but like the stuff that was supposed to happen last year, quote unquote,
is finally happening now. Yes, I'll give you that.
And it's making me question some things. Which, you know, if you're listening to the show, you use your own imagination to where I was going at with that. But I'm like, okay, so if this is about to go down, right, again, like I said, Robert Newman, Anthony, you feeling me when I say this? David, you're feeling me?
Yeah,
Robert
I'm feeling you.
Newman is back on a soap opera. He's going to be up against Eric Brady. I'm sorry, I got emotional just now because that was a dream come true for me.
I thought, and I'm going to say this out loud, I thought that Richard Burgi was the one to go hard, full force against Victor Newman. I'm not going to say that I understand the directions that the storylines took, but I'm okay.
But no, see, for me, it's okay. So let me tell everybody what the dream used to be. Okay, as a little girl, okay, which was like 5 years ago.
Right.
I used to always see. You know, like how ABC used to do their crossovers and everything, like One Life and All My Children, General Hospital, Love, and all that. And I know Young and Restless and Bold, and I know Guiding Light and As Well Turns did it as well. But I always wanted to force Soap to do it. So I always thought, like, what if Victor Newman came to Springfield, right? And he would meet with Josh Lewis and Alan Spaulding. Like, you couldn't tell me nothing if that was going to go down. Sadly, it didn't happen. I mean, we had Jeannie Cooper come over there down like, but she wasn't playing Catherine Sands, so I wanted to see that too. I wanted to see Alexander Spaulding.
Oh my God, yes. But here's the thing: they missed the opportunity, and I'm sorry, but Richard Burgi is the actor that could have gone toe to toe with Victor Newman, with Eric Brady, and they missed the opportunity.
No argument there.
If they do not pit Robert Newman and Eric Braeden, a.k.a. Ashlyn and Victor Newman, against each other, that is the worst missed opportunity in the last 10 years of soap opera history.
But I will say this. I'm going to be the shady one. Can I be shady real quick, Anthony?
Go ahead, go.
I'm sorry, General Hospital. Y'all should have asked him first.
Yes. Should have been Jeff. Absolutely. Absolutely. So on that note, let's move over to Salem. Let's get into Days of Our Lives.
Woo!
Okay.
Oh,
so Raisin Town.
Woo!
Go ahead, David.
Yep. Raisin Town, played by Will Christian from All My Children. He is Lonnie's father. And to the surprise, he is, would you say, like the producer that was going to do Johnny's movie?
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you think of him so far?
I like the character. I I like the character. I don't like the storyline. Candice?
Same.
Okay. Marlena made her apologies to Paulina.
I have a problem with that.
I was waiting for that.
Me too. Go ahead, girl.
I have a problem. I'm sorry. My thing is this redemption tour of Marlena. Are you serious? So everybody's supposed to, just because it's Marlena and she was possessed by the devil, all of y'all are going to be like, oh, it's okay. Homework moment. It's okay. Like, no, I'm sorry. Sierra needs to have a problem with this. Kayla needs to have a problem with this. Doug and Julie needs to have a problem with this. Belle needs to have a problem with this. Sammy needs to have a problem. And the best person who has to have a problem, even though I know they ain't going to let him play this out, is Ben. No, it's...
Ben. Yes.
I'll get to Paulina in a minute. But Ben, to me, because you have that quote-unquote the mother-son / patient, therapist, confidant, like, she's the one who told you to get your wife knocked up. 1. 2, you confide into her like a mother. Y'all really do have that mother-son connection. I would be, if I was Ben, because you literally did pick her over your wife, honey. I'm sorry, Ben, you did.
Yes, you did.
I would have such a
Go ahead, girl.
problem with the trust anymore. It's like, okay, I can't trust you and whatnot. And not for nothing, Kayla, and Doug and Julie. Look. Okay, again, I get it. Marlena Evans is the quote-unquote saint of Salem, allegedly. But to me, you broke so many rules. Again, now I go to Paulina. You literally got Paulina's daughter say the worst thing at the wedding. You regardless of who was in your sink, you as the body vessel. That was you, Marlena. So I'm sorry, but to me, nobody should be like, okay, it was all right. We understand. Are you sure you're okay now? Like, is everything okay? Like, you don't feel any like another altar coming into you. You don't feel like your spirit is about to be raised. Like, I don't get it.
Okay, girl. So put a pin right there, because this is what David and I were speaking about before you got on the call. So now I can finally let loose and hear what Candice and David really think. So here's the deal, okay? Kayla, her whole history is about truth, justice, doing the right thing, et cetera,
and the American way.
Exactly. So Kayla should be saying, at least, I wouldn't like it, but I'd be okay with the at least part of it. You need to take a year sabbatical. You need to get yourself back together. You need to work on your family. You need to repair these relationships. And you do not need to be inside that office dispensing therapeutics on folks.
Amen.
A couple of weeks after you've been unpossessed, or whatever you want to call it, and I go with repossessed because I love that spoof take on The Exorcist with Linda Blair.
That was a good movie with Linda Blair and Leslie Nielsen.
You remember that film, right? And the whole media was involved in all that.
Blue dress, double in the blue dress. Sorry.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So
the
the character of Kayla would be all about, you need to at least take a year sabbatical to get your house back in order. Okay?
Wait a minute, Anthony. Now you got me singing this part. I got to do it. Beep, bop, bo, 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 bo. Look at my nails. Here she comes.
All right, for our Take Two radio listeners out there, if you have never seen the movie Repossessed, I don't know what streaming service it's on, but go find it, starring Linda Blair. It was the ultimate spoof movie of, y'all watch Scary Movie that was supposed to be about
Scream.
If you
seen the post, okay, if you see you know Linda Blair, so they basically, The Exorcist, thank you, I had to remember that. If you see The Exorcist, basically it was the spoof and everything. It had Linda Blair, it had Leslie Nielsen, it had just, look, if you're a WWF fan, I'm allowed to say that, by the way. You're going to see some familiar faces if you're a wrestling, like Jesse Ventura and Gene Mean Oakland in there. It was the, like you just said, it was the ultimate,
the ultimate spoof film ever.
Yeah, it was like that's the airplane. I'm just gonna say it like that. But it was the movie, and the sad thing, the movie still holds up. Almost 40 years later, that movie still holds up.
But come on, so let's bring it back to Salem for a second. And I get Marlena is the saint of Salem. I get that. I do. But at this point, so much damage has been done for everyone to just pretend like, okay, the devil's gone, it's all good. Now, we all know the devil's not gone. Candice, you weren't on, but if you remember correctly, about 3 months ago, when we were talking about Johnny's movie, you and I both said the second person who's going to be possessed in this whole storyline is going to be Johnny.
Yeah.
Yeah. That did not come. It came as a shock to David, and God bless David. We love you, love you, love you. But Candice and I knew
no, I didn't expect
4 months ago that Johnny was going to be possessed.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait. Anthony dropped.
Oh, no.
Yep. Come on back, Anthony. Yeah, I was.
But yeah. Yeah, like we said, Johnny is the next one because he's a young one, and nobody would really think of him. And I think that's also kind of the irkiness of this too, is that you mean to tell me nobody can tell? Like I'm glad that Chanel kind of put two and two together. Like something's not right with him.
To an extent, am I back on?
Yes,
you are.
You're on.
Okay, go ahead.
Talking about like with Johnny, like the sad thing is that nobody kind of knows that something's wrong with him. Like Chanel did, but EJ is like, well, that's my boy. But here's my question of the day, Dave. This is my question of the day, Dave. Where's Sammy?
Yep.
Yes.
I
okay.
understand
Yes.
Allison Sweeney.
Yes.
I understand Allison Sweeney is, doing Hallmark, Lifetime and all that stuff. I get it. But for her not to be here
for the trial and all
that.
that.
Especially because for the trial and all of that too. Like it doesn't, to me, that's a missing chunk of this storyline. That's why I can't, like for the simple fact, I know what they did. I know what Dave did, and I'm going to applaud you for this. You knew that was a missing piece in this storyline, but you honored another big missing piece that kind of was technically the creator of this whole devil thing, Stefano DeMura. I got to give you your props because he's the ultimate devil. He's the one who weakened Marlena's mind for her mind to get warped from the devil. I totally get that, and I applaud you for showing me all of that, Stefano DeMura stuff. But at the same time, you mean to tell me nobody knows Johnny? Like Al.
Yeah. Okay.
Honey.
So right there, I'm gonna jump in because I agree with you 110%. I'm glad for that side of it. I'm glad that they resurrected and made us remember Stefano's involvement, et cetera, et cetera. But okay, here's where I have the biggest friggin' problem. John, Kayla, Patch. There are so many people on Canvas who have knowledge of the original possession. They have knowledge of what went on. Okay, Marlena pushed Ben into impregnating Sierra. I'm sorry, but if you want us to go with the suspension of disbelief and play in the land of reality, that should have come up already.
Pimping him out.
Just
about.
That should have come up already. I'm sorry. And I agree with you 1,000%, Candice, and I get scheduling and all that, but if that was the case, then change the storyline to lead up and drop us herrings in the meantime until we could get Sammy back on Canvas. You know she's coming back. You know we're going to hear more of all this. But don't play the storyline this way.
She's got to take wind of all that.
Exactly, if you can't have the major player there. Yeah. And it's the same scenario. Young and the Restless is doing it. And now that we did recap on Bold and Beautiful, I realize now that they're doing it. General Hospital is doing it. So basically all four soaps are trying to encompass a umbrella storyline to bring their entire casts together, but none of them, not a single one of them are doing it in a way that actually makes sense to all of us viewers who have been watching for even, let's go only 10 years. If we've only been watching for 10 years, it doesn't make sense to us who have been watching and unfolding the storylines. There comes a point where we get so disgusted that we say, okay, enough. We can't watch this drivel anymore. And Days of Our Lives, General Hospital, and The Young and the Restless are all three approaching that space of fandom. Bold and the Beautiful is enough removed that I think they could turn this into the right storyline. But the other three, oh my God. I like want to slap people, I want to punch people, and I literally want to like slap them and point them to footage and say, do you remember this? Do you remember that? It doesn't make sense. And Days of Our Lives, I love you, and thank you for doing this storyline, but you've gone off the rails. Pull it back, and pull it back hard, and pull it back fast.
And just Days of Our Lives fans, next week, show's only going to be on from Monday to Thursday due to the Olympic coverage. Thank you.
Yep. So I guess we're in for a cliffhanger.
We're in for a huge cliffhanger. I have been assured that the Thursday episode is going to leave us with our jaws on the floor. They didn't give any details, but they told us that last episode on Thursday is going to leave us with our jaws on the floor, and then we're going to have 2.5 weeks of nothing and then come back.
Okay, can I just got to rant about this real quick. So first and foremost, I'm glad to see Lindsay Godfrey back on my screen. I love Lindsay.
Yeah.
Her portrayal playing Ava, Gwen, and Sarah, great.
Oh.
However, I asked for this the beginning of this year. This was my New Year's resolution for Dave to not do any more math.
Right, I know that.
I feel as though, okay, this better be the last math thing, but I think in my heart it's not.
It's not.
Because I'm waiting for Abby math, to be completely honest. But I will say, Abby, girl, you are your parents' child, and I am so proud of you. I am so proud of you for using your brain and putting 2 and 2 together like a cop. I'm like, you are a true journalist, girl, because you are like, sit down doing like, okay, well, calculations, okay, Sarah had this, da-da-da-da-da. This ain't no way. I like it. But at the same time, Gwen, this is what I said this 2 years ago. I calculated this in November of 2 years ago. I said Dave is going to try to make this character so sympathetic that we, the viewers, are going to feel something for her. And you did. You did do that. But then I had said, a year ago, I said, no, watch they do something with Gwen to make me want to slap her. And guess what? That's what they did. Because my thing is, you're so insecure. I get it. To Sarah and Xander, like, okay, they had a thing. Okay, you are now the new girlfriend. I get it. You're like, okay, if Sarah ever comes back, I get it, the insecurities. But are we serious at this point about doing math? Like, so everybody's got a mask now? Like, again, I go back 2 years ago. Everybody got a mask. I don't know what I want for this story now, to be honest. I'm like, when I saw, because I kept thinking, I was like, wait a minute. How come Maggie never really called Sarah to find out where she is? I'm like, okay, take Xander aside. I'm like, Maggie. So you go ahead and you test drive the mask with Maggie. What the? So this is what I'm saying. Okay, parents of soap. Y'all need to watch your children. Understand what they're doing. Because if you act all brand new, I'm going to be acting really mad at y'all. Like, okay, so y'all saying Johnny never would act like this. Do you know the boy? Did you see him? Do you know where he live at? I'm just saying. I don't know. But what I do know is, and we need to address this. I'm going to be the, person. If you have not been watching Dave this week, there is a bit of a controversy going on right now surrounding Craig and Nancy.
Yes.
Oh, girl.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Let me just say this right now.
So go ahead, girl.
I called this one.
Yes, you did, David.
I think we all kind of did, too. You did call it, but it's one of those things where it's like, all right.
I called it in question on
right.
your
because
show,
I think
Candice.
we all have questions. I think we have questions, and I think we have some concern, and I think we have. It's so much where I think some people are afraid to say something because they don't want to be labeled. I will say it like that. So, Craig and Nancy as being the couple to break the mold, and when I say that, a curvy woman, plus size, and a god, I'm going to say.
Well,
Kevin,
girl,
you know
let's just remember Alan Marcy. Let's remember Alan Marcy real quick. But go ahead.
And well, let me just. I was going to say that, like, when you think of all the plus size, quote unquote, and and the studs and everything, they were always, some of them was skinny girl's best friend, or they had the whole
wait. Let's really run it down though, because there's only 3 soaps that really did it. You had Tracy and Brad Carlton on The Young and Restless.
You had
Brad
Sophia and Neil
on One Life. Who?
You had Sophia and Neil.
Oh my God, 4. That's
Sophia
right. Yes. You had Sophia and Neil.
So
Epiphany
4. And Milo.
But we never actually saw that on screen.
Right.
So I don't count Epiphany and Milo. So we've had 4 soaps that have done it. 2 that did it rather successfully, and 2 that teased us with it and never really took it where it needed to go.
Mm-hmm.
You would agree with that, Candice, right?
Yeah, I mean, because literally, this was a topic of like how many plus size, and the regular, the cute guys, and even Guy and Light came up with, Ashley and Coop, and Ashley got, bypass surgery and all that stuff. But with Nancy, she never was apologetic for her weight or her size or whatnot, and she dressed
exactly
and everything else like that. I would have said Sally and Clark. But Clark was being a bit of an a-hole to Sally. But Sally Spectre was still an icon in her own right.
Okay, anyway, wait, hold up. Here's the difference with Sally Spectre. Sally Spectre never once apologized for being a big woman. She lived her life. She was iconic. She lived her life saying, I am Sally Spectre. It's not the way I look. I'm Sally Spectre. I'm smart, I'm devious, I'm this, I'm that. The weight part of it never really entered into Sally Spectre's
that never came into play. And that's why I said she's iconic. Now, with Craig and Nancy for 30 years, kind of going on 30 years, they were that couple that schemed together, they played together, Craig raised that child
But wait,
together.
let's remind viewers for a second. Let's remind viewers of something. He was completely in love with her. He was in lust with her. He was in love with her. The weight never meant anything.
No.
She was never insecure at all. She was never insecure at all. Fast forward to this week. Okay, so Nancy came back, and I'm going to say it because I've been saying it. She reminded me of the doll from Family Affair. Look, Patricia Darbo, we all know, still rocks the red, and she's gorgeous. I don't know what this is. I don't know what that is. Fashion police moment for the day. So she comes down, and she's thinking Craig is cheating on her because there's $500 that was missing from the account, and he was going to a fancy restaurant. Craig comes to town and everything, and you can tell something is up. He's sneaky. He's doing something. And then all of a sudden we got Nancy talking about her insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
And Craig is reassuring his love. So today, full alert, because yesterday he rushed out to take a phone call. And then today he had another phone call too. And he was saying something to the effect of, honey, sweetie, like, I can't talk to you now. I'll talk to you later, sweetie. Bye-bye. Okay, so clearly we have addressed that Craig is cheating on this woman, right? Okay. Today on I'm just going to say a very special episode because clearly when I say that, it's because of what happened and also how social media is taking it right now. Chloe asked her father, point blank period, I know something is going on. What's happening? And Craig said he is in a relationship. He's happy. He cannot end it. He met somebody new. That new is not a female. It is a male. I'm going to tell you something. when I say right now, if you are on Twitter, on social media,
yeah,
if you hashtag Days of Our Lives right now, there is a debate going on right now. And it's a strong one. It's not one of those where it's two representation fan bases, fandoms, I should say. You have those who have never seen a plus-size woman being labeled as a sexy, curvaceous in a relationship with this guy who loves her for her without trying to slim down and everything, versus what they are calling it the late bloomers. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
If you watch,
girl,
okay.
come to point because I got a lot to say on this.
Okay. So a lot of people are saying well, hell, that's gonna be a fast one. There's 5 questions right now that's going on right now on social media. Why? With whom? What's the game plan?
Yeah.
Whose idea was this? And again, why? Like, seriously,
okay.
This is literally the questions, and I'm going to tell you something. Social media has not been on social media to respond to anything.
Uh-huh. And I noticed that, too. So I'm sorry, but I got to speak now. Days of Our Lives, I have been in your corner for everything. The time jump, the possession storyline,
yep.
Gwen. Even though, about 3 months into the Gwen storyline, I said to myself, oh, God, hit her with a bus and just end this because whatever. But, okay, I've been on board with everything. You gave us something. You gave us the love between a good-looking guy, and some people can dispute that. Maybe the Kevin Spiritus in real life ain't what makes their boat float. But aesthetically speaking, he was handsome, muscular, the perfect, he's a doctor, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And he fell in love with Nancy. Okay? Now to turn around, and now I am, if anybody listening to us does not remember or has not listened to us consistently, I am part of the LGBTQ community. To now give us this storyline that Nancy has been a beard all these years is so disrespectful, so dirty, so ugly to the storyline that they told with Nancy and Craig. Craig, yeah. It's so disrespectful to that storyline because that storyline meant so much to all of those plus-size women out there who said, we got a lot of loving to give and we can love on you and show you just what a skinny girl can't give you. And everybody ate it up. And everybody loved it. Mm-hmm. Now to turn, and I understand, being from the LGBTQ plus community myself, having Craig, Kevin on podcasts of mine, not having to do with Take Two Radio, and understanding his other series, et cetera, et cetera. No. You are destroying. You are destroying something that gave hundreds of thousands of bigger girls that validation that what happens in their real life they can actually see on screen. And now you're going to take it all away because he's been secretly gay all this time? No, Days of Our Lives, no. And Ron, you dirty little bastard, you're gay. Don't do this, Ron. Don't do this. This is a very bad. And I waited for Candice because I know you had stuff to say about this. So when David and I were talking before you got on.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I said no. Let's go back. Let's not talk about this right now because I know Candice has got opinions on this. Did I not, David?
Yes, you did.
The ongoing joke was when I kept hearing stuff about Craig, I said the devil, because I'm like, Days is just rolling with this devil stuff. So I was like, it's the devil. But then all of a sudden, when Nancy came in and she looked at the way, I was like, okay, that's my red flag right there. The way she was dressed.
Yeah.
I'm like, why you're making her look this way? And then when I heard, yesterday, I literally had the whole scenario of him, like her having the scene, like when the confrontation happens, right? Because clearly I'm thinking this is going to happen, that Nancy will start rethinking over the 30 years if there was any warning signs, making her feel more insecure because they already addressed that she's insecure as it is. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, no, we're not doing this because she never once was insecure about herself. She never was. And Craig never gave her the insecurity.
There are two characters. There are two characters that I can point to in soap opera history who said, "I'm big, I'm beautiful, F you," and that was Marcy on One Life to Live, and that was Nancy on Days of Our Lives.
Yeah.
Nancy on Days of Our Lives.
And that's the thing. And that's
I don't count
Sally
like, Spectre because they never actually addressed in
that.
any way or form on Bold and Beautiful that Sally Spectre was a big woman. She was so big in personality and life that they didn't have to address that she was a big boned or a big fleshed woman.
She was
so
Sally
I don't count
Spectre. Right. But see, it goes back to, I'm going to be honest, this is such a slap in the face for the women's, the plus-size women's representation, because here's the thing, the last soap to kind of do that kind of stuff, to kind of slap people in the face, was with Tracy on Young and the Restless, and I'm sorry, I will stick to what I said about that and about how it all went down. But with this, I'm like, so we're going to, I'm like, yo, Dave, like, look, here's the thing. Hands down, you are by far the soap that shows the representation of all diversity. I got to give you your props on that. You have a lot going on. I don't think you guys thought this through.
No.
I think you just thought, okay, this is going to be a moment. No, it's not even going to be a filler. It's going to be moment
Candice,
where people talk.
Hold up, Candice. This is what they thought. Hold up. They thought that the viewers are so far removed from the actual Nancy and Craig storyline that they wouldn't care enough to actually feel about this. But they did not take into account that there are viewers who have been watching this soap from day one. There were viewers that when Nancy and Craig finally, when they were the spokesperson for a big woman and a hot guy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Because here's the deal. The Young and the Restless played with it. They did. They put Brad and Tracy together. And it worked in the way that the Young and the Restless did it. I'm not even going to take away from that storyline.
Well, see, what I'm saying is, like,
wait, hold up. Let me just finish
I'm not even counting. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
It didn't end the way I wanted it to end, but they played the beats on the Young and the Restless. I got to give them credit for that. But when it comes to this storyline, Days of Our Lives did it. They took it all the way. They gave big women their validation. They gave men who like big women, and there are a lot of men out there who hide in the shadows, whatever it may be. But you go on certain social media sites, et cetera, you will realize that there are a lot of I'm talking hot men out there who like big women. God bless. God bless, because there is somebody for every one of us out there. But to turn around and dump this storyline on its head because he's gay, and I'm from the LGBTQ community, to do this, no, this is ugly. And to turn around and make this woman who has been so proud of who she is, who has been unapologetic of her bigness, et cetera, now she's all of a sudden insecure. No, this is bad. Very, very bad.
It's like, and real quick, with the Tracy thing, I wasn't talking, I mean, obviously Tracy and Brad was my everything. I'm talking about what they were supposed to do with Kane and Tracy, but I'm going to let that go, because Jesus told me we got to move on.
Oh, but girl, they dropped that ball too. You know it, and I know it. There could have been so much story told with Kane and
again, it's that representation out there. It's a representation out there that, and look, everybody wants to see themselves being represented on television, and I get that. But again, Ron, I always get slammed for picking on you, but I call you out on certain things. I give you the love, and I'll be like, yo, you learn from Agnes Nixon. You know what to do. I give you that. But the thing is that you needed to. I don't know who, or I don't even know what the start process was. I really would actually like to know what was the conversation like when you guys came up with this storyline. Did you think about the history of the characters, or do you know the history of the characters? That she was like, okay, I'm going to quote unquote, not like I'm going to use this word, but you destroy their legacy, their couple. And the thing is that I get it. Again, we're in 2022, things change and everything. Again, there's a show on HBO Max called And Just Like That, where Miranda is going through the same thing right now. But when I say that Dave's fans on social media, I'm gonna break this down real quick. Some of them are like using the 5 questions that I just said just now, because everybody is speechless at this point. Speechless.
Girl, let me stop you there for a second and think about it logically.
We got 4 minutes.
If they wanted to take a character and turn it into this storyline, you got Brady. You got Xander. There are so many characters that they could have played with this and actually had a legitimate basis on the questioning idea to destroy everything that you put forth for big women. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it, and maybe I'm not a popular person for saying this, but big women are probably the largest audience of soap operas. To destroy what you gave to big women through the Craig and Nancy storyline just to turn him gay is disgusting. And I'm saying this from the LGBTQ perspective. I'd like to see as many gay folks on our soap operas as possible. I'm advocating for Johnny Wackdurst, a.k.a. Brando, to realize, I love Sophia because she's my bestie. She's my best friend. But ultimately, I want to be with somebody like, look at, Austin's kind of hot. But, that's just me. But to take away everything you gave to the community out there by doing this storyline, it's so wrong. It's so wrong.
I'm just going to say, I know we're short on time, but with General Hospital, this is all I want to say. I'm at loss for words on some things that some people got put two and two together and realized that baby is really Maxie's. Anna, you need to get a new spy license. Trina, honey, you can't drink anymore. Esme, I need to know if you're Ryan's daughter or not. Elizabeth, if you have DID, Frank, you know how to do a DID storyline. You used to work on One Life to Live. Don't screw it up. Storyline, I'm all for it. Amen. And that's it. Oh, and Luke's Memorial, total fail.
Okay, so we were waiting for you, and we're running out of time. But yes, Luke's Memorial, complete and total fail, and it has to be the red herring that Tony Geary is going to pop up on our screens the very end of February or the beginning of March.
Right.
I love seeing Helena, but girl, come on. It was such a letdown where they left it off. There has to be more to it.
My letdown was, seeing Jennifer Smith was a plus, but you did not have Lucky, Ethan, or Lulu get out of my face.
Yes, absolutely.
That's it.
But I'm going to say this on the Liz D.I.J. storyline. If that's where you're going, General Hospital, I beg you, I plead with you, do not do a Connie Falconeri kind of thing. You need to make this reality.
I forgot all about that.
Right.
Yes.
And you can bring Jeff Weber on.
Yep.
That's the idea. Throw it out there. All right, you guys.
All right, everybody out there. We will be back in 2 weeks with more fabulous Soap Talk. We love that you joined us today with some call-in viewers. We will announce the number at the top of the show in 2 weeks. Please join us with your comments and opinions, and have a great and fabulous weekend.
Yep.
Be safe,
and don't forget
to
catch out Forever and a Day on February 8th.
February 7th. February 7th.
Get connected with Take Two Radio on Facebook or Twitter at Take Two Radio. For email updates on future shows, follow at Blog Talk Radio. For previous episodes, upcoming guests, and more, visit TakeTwoRadio.com.